Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Something different today from the folks over at Geeetech. We have got the Alkaid 3D Resin Printer. Now, just for transparency, this was actually sent to me by the folks over at Geeetech, but there's no financial compensation for review here. This is purely my own thoughts on it and what I think about this printer. And this printer, just so you know, is a really great price entry-level machine. So if you are looking to get into 3D printing, or in particular 3D resin printer, then this is probably something you want to look closely at. Now, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you all the parts for it, how to set it up, and how to do your first print. So if you're completely new to 3D printing, I'm sure you're going to absolutely love this video. But let me show you the printer. This 3D resin printer packs a lot of punch. It's 286mm in length by 226mm wide, and it's got a height of 372mm. One of the ease of use features of this printer is the tilted angle control screen, which is ready to read while you're setting up your prints, allows you to use this machine more comfortably. The LCD area has a 6.08 inch 2K resolution black and white screen, which has a higher life expectancy and a 0.051mm printing accuracy. This screen can give you speeds of 1.5 seconds per layer or 120mm per hour. The actual build plate will enable you to build models up to 82mm times 130mm times 190mm, but for all you folks over the pond, that's 3.14 times 5.11 times 7.48 inches. With the Z-axis linear guides being more precise, it improves print quality, it has a high load tolerance and can absorb assembly errors. Let's talk about the individual parts of this machine. So, one of the first things we get is this USB stick. On this stick you're going to have the Chi2 box software, which is your splicing software. I'm going to show you how to use that in a second. You've also got the instruction manual. We've also got some test models for you to print, all conveniently put on this USB stick. When it comes to power, we do have the power adapter here. This is the English power adapter with a 3-pin plug. In your region, you'll have the correct power adapter to whatever your territory is. This is the transformer, which as you can see is a 12 volt out 5 amp, looking like that. We do have the instruction manual of how to set the machine up and how to do your first print, but I'm going to go through all of that and show you how to do that in this video. A nice welcome letter here from the folks over at Geeetech, just showing you support options and how to create an account so that you can submit any support issues that you do have. And then some important tools are in this bag that we're going to need when we actually do the 3D print. So if I can get this open, we have the scraper to get this off the build plate, some tweezers that we can use for fiddly details, an Allen key, which we're going to need to level the plate, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. And these bolts here that we're going to use to put the vat tray into the 3D printer. Now this is the 3D printer here. I'm just going to take off the UV cover and take out the vat tray. In the bottom of the vat tray here, this is the FEP sheet or the FEP sheet. As you can see, it has got some protection on it, which I need to take off. Both sides, so we've got one on this side, and then I've got one just on the other side to peel off as well. Like that. So it's nice and clear. Now we also have some protection on the screen here that we want to take off. Now you can buy protection screens to go over this, just in case you have any resin leak out of this on the screen. Rather than damage the screen, you can have a protection to put over this. The reason I'm not using this one is because there was air bubbles in it, so I'm not going to do that this time. This is the build plate here, which you undo the screw and then that can just slide straight off. As you notice, this is really loose at the moment, and the reason for that is because we need to level the bed. So to do that, first thing I'm going to do is power on the machine. Okay, the first thing I want to do once it's on is I want to level the bed. So what we're going to do is just put the build plate back on here again. Make sure it's in tight, and tighten this knob at the top. And then make sure that these screws here are loose. So this should be able to bounce up and down. Get yourself a bit of paper and put that just over the screen like that. So to level the plate, all we're going to do is we're going to click on Tools. We're going to put Manual, and I want to click Z-axis and then click on the Home button here. As you can see, that's going to move down onto that plate. Now when we've got it in that home position, I just want to push down on that and then tighten the screws up each side. Once we've done that, we can lift this up, take the sheet out. Now I'm going to press the up button a couple of times to lift that Z axis up all the way now. And as you can see, that's rising up. Now we want to take these screws and just gently put them in on each side here. And then that will enable us to put the vat reservoir in here just like this. And again, tighten that up to keep that locked into place. Anytime you want to go back to the main menu, we can just click on this button here. It will take you to the initial screen, just like that. Now the next thing to do is to fill the vat reservoir up with resin. Now you have got a minimum line here, all the way up to maximum here. For the print I'm about to do, we don't need to fill this to maximum. I think I'm going to put this around about 100 mils. Now you can get resin online. I'm just going to put this in. This is grey. As you can see, that's going in quite well. So this is Geeetech, and the first thing we need to do is tell it what printer we're using. Now on the USB dongle, we can actually add a machine. As you can see, I've already added the Alkaid machine on here. All you need to do is click on the profile defaults and click on this, add new printer. You scroll down to others, and then you scroll to default, click OK, and then you're going to import this button here, the profile for the Alkaid printer, which is on the USB dongle. Once that's in there, as you can see, I've got that listed here. That will enable you to have a build plate for the model we're about to put on. Now I've already got a model of Groot, so I'm going to put that on the build plate. So what I do is I click on this one here, downloads, Groot bust sculpt, and there it is. Good, isn't it? Now I can scale that, so I can click on it here and then click on scale, and I can just drop this scale down. I think I'm going to have that 60. It's because I've locked the ratio, it's going to make the whole thing in scale here. I also don't want to build it flat to the plate because I want to keep this detail without supports going onto it. So I can click on rotate, and I can just rotate that back there like that. That looks perfect. Then I click on this button up here, which is going to put supports in. Now, to enable it to stick to the plate, I want to put a raft on there. Now, it's already got a raft support, which is called a skate around here. I can change the thickness for that. But to be honest with you, 1mm should be perfect for what I want to use it for. And then I can add supports. So to add a support, I click on this add support here. And then I'm just going to be placing supports where I think it's going to need it. Now, what you can do, if I remove all of those, is actually get the software to do it for you. Now, these used to be terrible. With the update that they've got now, I'm using 1.9.5. It's not so bad. So if I click on all, having light supports here, it's going to automatically put supports in this model for us, as you can see. Now, I can amend them and delete them as I want. You want to make sure there's no supports next to the body that could stick, but I think all of those should be able to break off. Some of those supports I don't think, it might be a bit excessive, we don't need, but for the purpose of this demonstration, I think that will be fine. Once we've done that, I'm going to click on this and click on slice, and it's going to slice the image for us in a format that the printer's going to be able to understand. And once we've got that, this is going to show us how it's printing on the build plate. So when it starts, it's going to start with that raft, you see, and then this is how the build plate is going to look when it's blasting UV light through that resin. I'm going to click on save, and we'll be saving it to the dongle. We want to make sure we save it as a CTB file. When it's on the dongle, we can take that out, ready to put into the machine. Now, if I just turn the machine around, the file that I created on Geeetech, I'm now going to plug into the back here, turn it back. And before I start, I am going to put the build plate onto the home position. So that's going to drop into the resin. just like that. Now, to print the Groot that we created, I'm going to click on print. And then we're going to look down this list for the Groot model that I created. Now, I put it in the test model folder. So I click on there. And as you can see, we've got a model called Groot. So I click on that. It's going to show me what the model is going to look like on the plate. I've zoomed up on that so you can see that, because I haven't seen that on a lot of 3D printers. And then to start printing, all I'm going to do is click play. And then leave it going. As you can see, it's starting to do the print now. And it's going to do a section at a time. And what happens is it blasts the UV ray for the bottom layer there. And when it's done the first layer, it will lift itself up and then drop itself back down again. As you can see, lifting up, then back down, ready to do the next layer. Now we want to protect that from any outside influences and UV light. So we have the cover here to put over the top. We can still see it doing its thing in there. And we'll come back and see what that looks like. Simple as that. I'm telling you, that's one of the easiest 3D printers to set up, and I do like that it's showing me what it's actually printing on the screen here. For the price that you actually pay for this printer, it's amazing the quality of this, and I'm captivated just watching it do this, because this screen is so clear, even though it is keeping out UV, that I can see what's going on. Hopefully when the print head's actually cleared this vat reservoir, I can actually check that the print is going successfully. So it's been 5 hours 37 minutes and it's finished printing. And as you can see here, it looks to be a successful print. Now what I'm going to do is take this out. I'm going to rinse it in some isopropyl alcohol, and I'm going to leave it outside because it's a sunny day today, and we'll have a look what that looks like.
A few moments later.
So that's what it looks like after it's been cleaned with some isopropyl alcohol. So I'll get this to cure. We'll have a look how this looks. I have to say, using this scraper made really short work getting it off the plate, as you can see. Lovely and clean off the plate there. And I wanted to just give you a quick idea of what a pre-cured Groot looks like. So this has now been washed with isopropyl alcohol. I haven't taken the supports off. I am going to leave that to cure. Now you can get wash and cure stations, which does all that job for you. But I'm sure you'd agree. Look, that is brilliant for a first print.
Pretty impressive. And I can't believe that's only taken like 5 minutes of unboxing it. So another 5 minutes to actually get everything set up and printing. And we've got this now. I printed one earlier, slightly bigger, on my other bigger 3D printer. And they are exactly the same. The only thing that isn't the same is the price. And I think that's one of the things that this printer has definitely got going for it. The price is very, very economical. Now, if you want to check this out for yourself, I have put a link in the video description. You can get this all the way for yourself. What do I think of it? Well, I think, it looks good. It's smaller than I expected. Now, what I can print with that, it's nice to make some little busts and perhaps doing some detailed parts. But for bigger things, you're probably going to want a bigger printer. Other than that, though, every other thing, including the quality of it, is amazing for the price that you're getting it for. And as you can see, it works absolutely perfectly. So this is going to have a pride of place over here. That's why I've been clearing everything off at the moment. And I'm hoping that I've gave you an insight into the world of 3D resin printing. And perhaps this might be a way to start your hobby off if you are doing this for the first time. Anyway, I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.